Hey everybody. You know, sometimes they say when you read the Bible, sometimes something happens in the Bible you just don't you don't see until you saw it. Well, I found an old Bible many years ago. I'm going to show you something. And I want to read you something, okay? I found in the Bible many years ago when I lived in a place called Newcastle State Hospital many years ago. Alright, this is back in Newcastle State Hospital many years ago where I lived. I had a dream. Let me read you that dream. The dream says, I had a dream about heaven. I saw the streets of gold. And this is in the Bible, in old Bible. Look how old this Bible is. Look how old it is. Look how old it is. My pages are ripped out of it. Look. My pages are ripped out of it. Do you see that? And it's kind of weird. But it's the book of Revelation, but I'm missing some of the Revelation pages. See? So it is an old Bible. Many years ago, as you can see, I wrote in it throughout the past. But I want to read you something that's going to blow your mind. Okay, it says, and I had a dream about heaven. I saw the stars and the golden gate, and the gold and golden gates, and the golden place that happened on 4/25/75, in a place called Damar Homes. I saw a man named Michael, the archangel, that came down. I lived on a unit called Block 2. A man named Gary Bell was my roommate. It says I had the dream about a woman who disappeared in a pond of quicksand. The next day, my second day after the dream, I went there. In liquids, I started seeing her in my dream on the third day. And when I went to the pond, the quicksand, I noticed this was a sea of glass. And it looked like a bubble city. I asked the queen and asked the woman, why was she testing me? Go to see the evening as she came back to the pond. Then she kissed me and said goodbye. Then her face turned like a line. Then I never seen her again. What is so funny, if you believe in some of the things you see in the Bible, they make you be weary. And sometimes when you see something that you don't believe in, all right, and I'm going to tell you, this is weird, but you think I'm kidding you, and you think I'm not, but sometimes people just don't want to see what you say. But if you go to the King James Version, and you go to the King James Version, and you type in the Sea of Glass in Revelations, my name is John. And the funny thing about it, the weird thing about it, is this. Now I'm going to turn the page around, and I'm going to show you something. This is going to blow your mind. And the crazy thing about it, the Sea of Glass, it talks about what's going to happen in like the bubble and everything. But it's weird, but the Sea of Glass is Revelation 4:6. And the funny thing is, why would it look like this of being in the Bible? Revelations 4:6. This is going to blow your mind. And the crazy, what does it talk about, the Revelations 4:6? It talks about the Sea of Glass. What is the Sea of Glass mentioned in the book of Revelation 4:6? Watch what it says. Does the book of Revelations mention John is mentioned? And the Sea of Glass is the throne. John does not escalate, but sees the Sea of Glass actually into the sea of the water. Now wait a minute. What did I say? The sea of glass disappearing. You see? It was kind of weird. But look what date that's on. And the funny thing about it, coming over, and it says, and the sea was a demonic move to force, but the glass that was given to impression that was still there, can see that was made by the glass. What is John talking about? Before the throne, there was a sea of glass. What does it say? And it says, right, and I saw, Michael, and then for here, it says right down here, and it says, about upon this, I said, I saw what? The sea of glass. And the weird thing about it, it comes over, and it says, Revelation said, and I appeared upon this, that John said, he saw a national sea of glass. There was the glass, and the word compression of glass was a big difference. The quiet of this, felt of this, was struck by lightning. Apparently, John saw the impossibility to describe the difference between anything that he's seen in the composites of this. And then he said, the word was crystal. Uh-oh. And it said right here, and it says right here, and the bubble city I saw was crystal. The word is crystal, the sea of glass, and it was crystal. The weird thing about it, it shows it right there. And the sea of glass was crystal, and the image was like fire. And John said he was trying to convert the balance of the experience of this. Though it says Daniel's word of the vision of this was Ezekiel. And the funny thing about it was the language that could not be described. But it shows you exactly many years ago a dream that I had. And it says right here, and about form was the sea of glass. And on the other side it says, and a bubble city I saw to this, and taking the scene I see, and the testing of the image to finding out what happened, and then all of a sudden, right here. So, this is funny. The whole story tells you about the sea of glass. So why was my story or video or vision many years ago was sitting in the sea of glass? And the weird thing about it, it said 1975 through 87. And it said, though there was like the sea of glass, looks like crystal. Right here it says, the city was like a bubble city. And I saw the queen and the king, that's Jesus and Mary, and testing upon me, I said, therefore evening that they came back upon the city, and it said, then she turned like a lion. The oracle says, right here, it says, and John saw the impossible, describing the difference between anything he had seen, and also upon this he demanded of the water that John saw absolutely quintal, and both of the sea of glass perhaps that the word was crystal. And the word of this is balance, and launching of this is weird. So the funny thing about it was this the vision that I had in an old Bible. Look how old this Bible is. Look how all tore up. And the pages in it are missing. See? Look at it. The Bible's tore up. And the pages are tore up. So how can you explain this right here? How can you explain all this about, and I saw a dream, 1978 and 70 or 75 and 87. So I had it once in 75 and I had it once in 87. So I had the same dream twice, but then all of a sudden it says right here in the Bible. My dream appeared in the Bible in the King James Version. So you tell me, was this a coincidence or was this a gift from God?